So whenever I start my lesson, my preparation lesson will be stored on the left side. Okay? And then I can go into the students. I know who's on my class. So now, as a student 1, let me just log into it. Okay. So now, you can log into it. Again, as he logins to the classroom, he will automatically get all these content on the left side.
Okay.
Automatically pops up and automatically. So now I have a students 1 popping in here, right? So from here, I can actually do the screen lock. Okay. And I can do the interaction lock. I can go back to anywhere. This is the students 1, right?
Oh, okay.
Right? So students 1.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I mean. So this is how I can actually have a full control of my students. Whether you want to lock his interactive, or whether you want to lock his screen itself, or you want to lock his application. So we have a students 1 and students 2. Let's just put it on the side by side. Easy you to actually capture it. So now, so as a teachers, I see students 1 is on the very first page. I see students 2 is on other pages, right? What if students A is doing a really good job and I want to share his work with the entire classroom? What I can do is I can just pick a students 1, and there is a small little icon here, share screen. Once I press this screen goes on to the students B as well as the bigger screen over there.
That's a really big screen.
Yeah, it's actually 85-inch screen.
That's what I figured.
So then student A is writing his content. Everybody can see what he's writing on it. Even teacher can see. Oh, this is like a big screen. Can do the trick as well. Okay. And as a student B or other students who's actually receiving all those data, what I do with it? I don't want to lose it, right? So what I can do is I can actually do a screen capture here. So I can capture the screen, he's writing on it, and later on I can get this screen on my tablet and I can start writing on it using our S Pen or S Note, any of those applications. He just pops out his S Note. Okay. Okay.
And then you can send the files to
Exactly. So let's just stop screen sharing it.
And the screen sharing is done through All Sharecast, right?
So screen sharing is actually different. So this from a teachers to a big screen, that is using All Sharecast.
So if the classroom already has a projector, you just need an All Sharecast dongle.
Yes.
And it's different from Miracast, right?
It's the same.
Oh,
It's
Miracast and All Sharecast are compatible?
It's compatible. It's the same, but as a Samsung, we call it All Sharecast.
But they're compatible with...
They are compatible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like Microsoft calling their DLNA, and we have our own OSHare, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like different names, but they do the same function.
Okay.
And in every single classroom, you always see us like really slow kids, right? So I wanted to help him out without embarrassing him. What I can do is I can just go into students 2, and there is a part where I can do the private lesson. So this way, it's only students B and teacher is sharing his screen. Okay, and not only that, I can actually write. At this point, I can do the interactive. So he's writing on it, I can write on it. So, yeah, because of the. So he writes on it, right? He writes on with a red pen, and from my teachers. Let me change to black or pink, black. Then I can just so this is how we can actually do the interactive. Okay. So what if kids have questions to ask? So what we have is we actually have a messaging as well. So from our teachers, I can send a group message to a group of the students or individual students. It is up to teachers to do that. Okay, and each course. So let's actually go back to our main screen here. As you can see here, we have a notice section and we have a board section. And not only that, I can go into my timetable, and this is my teacher's timetable here. Okay, so from a teacher's timetable, I can actually create my own courses. So this is how I can create the course. Okay. You can actually set a timetable and put your students in it, classroom settings, all sort of things can be done by this area. Not only that, I can go into one of my classroom, and here you see week 2, week 3. That's my that's where I can actually put my contents on it. So it depends on the day, depends on the timeline, or depends on the week. I can have a different contents. I can have a different quiz section. I can have a different video clip, or even the app.
So all this curriculum is synced to Google Drive?
No, it's actually depends on the school whether they want to link with their Google Drive or they want to use it just send alone sort of things. So when Edmonton ones, they are using a Google Drive a lot, but on Vancouver ones, they're not using a Google Drive.
Oh, okay.
But they do use a Google Gmail account, but not the entire Google Drive. So it is actually up to the school to decide whether they want to go with the Google Drive or it supports a Microsoft SkyDrive, any of those Dropbox, any of those clouding service. Okay, so from here I can go into attendance, so I know who's in my classroom, and I can have my reports done here, and I can have my quiz and poll section done here. And if you go to one of these students, so if I go to my students, I have a general information of the students. Let's say I did. So I know who's all these content of these students and attendance list, obviously, and grade history and behavior feedbacks. Okay? And again, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we do have a section where you can actually put your contents and manage your contents. So here I have my box, I have a public box. My box is more like a private box. It only belongs to me, so nobody can see those contents within that. But public box, whoever has access to the Smart School, they do have access to the public box. So this is more like you want to put more like really public stuff like announcement or sort of things.
So what kind of security does the teacher's tablet have? Is it just the stock Android stuff like pattern unlock, or?
We do support the SSL as well. So we have a HTTP and a HTTPS.
No, I mean like when if the teacher has to leave the room, and then I'm a student and I want to go up to their tablet.
Oh, so
Can I move everything, all the answers from my box to the public box?
That's the type of student you were, yeah?
Yeah.
not as a student. No. You actually need to.
So the teacher, when they press the lock button and it's locked, how does it get unlocked? Is it just the regular
Password,
Android
yeah,
stuff?
Android, yep.
Oh, so I just have to look at the grease pattern on it, and then I can figure out their unlock code. Okay, that's good to know.
Okay.
Or take a picture of the teacher.
Yeah. So we always recommend to put numbers, complex numbers,
Yeah.
instead of swiping it, instead of putting it, because of their privacy. Because of their privacy, they do have their own locking system as well. Because in order them to use a Gmail account or their internal email account, they do need to have their own locking. So again, this is really depends on the school. So we went to the library. Let's go into the app section. So app section, this is where you can store all those APK files. Okay. So as a student, if you don't want your students to have a Google account, I mean, some school might want to do that, right? Because you don't want to give a full access to tablet to, let's say, grade 1 or grade 2. You're just too young to play around with the tablet. Maybe that's the case. Then all they can do is they just have an APK file, pull it into the App Store, our own Samsung School App Store, and then from a tablet they can actually pull out of it without logging into their Google account.
Oh, but there's many ways to get programs on.
Yeah.
This is not the only way.
Yeah,
You could use the Google Play educational
Yeah.
thing they announced recently.
Yeah. So we do have one of those functions right built into our tablet. Okay. And one last thing that I wanted to go with is, what if we're out of if my contents, my teacher's content, it's not actually related to any of these smart school. I need to actually open up a third party's content. What I do. All these tablet students have the same image what I have of the teachers. So from here, I can run third party's application, let's say a Compass. So I can have my Compass up and running, and they all have the Compass up and running on their tablets as well. So this is how I can share my application that is outside of the smart school.
How much does Samsung School cost?
So the software, you have a choice of two different types of licenses, monthly or perpetual. The monthly licenses, annual or perpetual. The annual license is $39. The perpetual license is $99
Per device?
per device. Okay.
A lot of the functionality that I see here is provided from the app itself. So it doesn't really look like you really need a Samsung tablet, other than like the ability to lock the whole device down. So can students bring their own Android device?
Unfortunately, it's no. It's because in order to use a smooth sharing screens, you actually need to have a powerful CPU, powerful machines.
Yeah, assuming they have a very recent Android device that supports Miracast. I mean, and has similar or better specs than the Note. Could you bring that to
Not
it?
really, not really.
Not even the Nexus 10 made by Samsung.
No, not even. No. That's because of.
Is that because Samsung won't supply them the APK, or the APK won't install on a
It's just it won't install on other devices.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Because of the process that we have, and
Yeah.
it's just that it doesn't match with their application level. And in order to, when I do the sharing screen, it's not just using our CPUs. It's actually using our middleware between the Android and Samsung middleware. There is actually a small little application called Framework, OShare Framework. So in order to use our sharing, you do need to have that framework installed on each devices. That's why our Note 10.1 is the only devices that works. And on top of that, we actually newly launched the Tab 3 that will support the smart screen.
So it won't run on Galaxy S3 or
No, because
Galaxy
of the screen
S4.
size, it's not gonna work.
Okay.